With this here, this ain't about being flashy. This is game day, son. It's only about one thing. Getting that W. That's the only thing that matters right now. Boy, are you ready?
The past is the past, you know? It's a new day, bro. My day. Gotta do it now.
Hey Matt, how's it going? How's your foot doing? You hurt like the rest of the NFL right now. There's so many friggin' injuries this weekend.
No, my foot's fine, but my liver's a little sore from all the beer watching, drinking while I'm watching football.
You're probably still drunk, aren't you?
Hey, maybe,
Jesus.
maybe. But that's what I do on Sundays. It's football time.
Sundays just carry over until Tuesdays for you.
Yeah, well,
that hungover, Monday Night Football and all.
Right. You remember there is a game on Monday as well. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let's jump into these games because we got so many to go over this week, as always, obviously. So Falcons 31, Rams 24. I guess the big news coming out of this game is, obviously Steven Jackson's injury. I mean, we kind of opened with it, all these injuries this weekend, but officially listed as week to week. There's reports out there that he's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks, and he's already been ruled out of week 3. So I guess knowing that he's already out, and we saw Jacquizz Rodgers kind of get the bulk of the work after he went out, I think he's obviously the guy to own here if you're picking the guy up to kind of start this week. Snelling did get the goal line carries, but I got to ask you, how long until they bring back a guy like Michael Turner, huh? Already knows the playbook. I mean, Jacquizz isn't the answer, and I am only joking about Turner. I don't see them bringing him back.
Right,
but
Thank you.
What do you think here with Jacquizz and Snelling?
It's going to be Jacquizz, I think, for sure. You saw it. Snelling is going to get the goal line work. He's a big guy. He's somebody I always liked as a good backup to big fat Michael Turner back in the day. He's been there a long time. He knows the system as well as anybody on that team. No doubt about that. So he'll be fine, but it's Jacquizz, and I think he's one of the better pickups, especially 2 to 4 weeks. We'll see what happens. Steven Jackson's a tough guy, but he's a good pickup to have, especially for week 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll get to a little bit later with the injury to Eddie Lacy, but is Jacquizz your number 2 pickup this week after James Starks?
Yeah, I would say he is. Yeah, he's definitely one of the ones you want to make sure you look to this week.
And there's going to be a lot of handcuff running backs that you'll probably be picking up this week in your waiver wire guys to stash maybe for like a week, pick them up, stick them in your lineup, depending on matchups and things like that. But the receiving side of the ball, obviously Julio Jones goes nuts, 11 catches for 182 yards and a touchdown. But Roddy White obviously disappoints again. He's still recovering from that injury. Are you buying or selling Roddy White at this point? Do you think this is something that's going to linger and hurt him for the rest of the year? Or is this something where you're trying to buy low on him because he's had two bad games to start off the year?
I'm trying to buy low on him for sure, and if I have him, I'm not selling him. You can't sell a guy when it's at
you can't sell him at pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, you're at his rock bottom value there. But if you've got an owner that just thinks it's because he's old and it doesn't believe in this ankle injury, then I'm going to go get him for sure, especially if you can get him 75 cents on the dollar right now.
I'll tell you what, I got another guy for you that basically is going for pennies on the dollar right now, and we have some questions regarding this guy later, but another guy that kind of went in the 3rd round, David Wilson. Who would you rather have right now? If you had Roddy White, would you be trading Roddy for David Wilson or vice versa? Which way would you rather have?
David scares me a lot more. I know what I'm going to get with Roddy, I feel like. David really scares me. I know he's really the most talented, no question guy they have there, but I don't know. He's scaring me right now, but high upside, I think it's definitely David Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson's definitely I
haven't decided on him yet. I'm struggling with that one myself.
Those are 2 3rd-round picks that if you guys picked them, those guys this year, you're really hoping they turn it around quickly. Rams side of the ball, all their receivers seem to have gotten involved in this game. I mean, Givens finally shows up, 5 catches for 105 yards. Pettis, 8 catches for 78 and a touchdown. Tavon Austin, 6 catches, 47 yards and 2 touchdowns. Your guy, Jared Cook, he came to play, didn't he? 1 catch for 10 yards. So I got to ask you, rank these 4 guys for the rest of the season. How are you ranking these 4 guys?
Cook is number 1 for me. If you're going to throw him as a wide receiver?
Yeah, I'll throw him in that ranking.
All right. I mean, he is a tight end, though.
I'm just talking receivers.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be Cook, Austin, Givens, and Pettis.
All right,
I'm close on Austin and Givens.
I would too. I was going to say I would do Cook, Givens, Austin, then Pettis.
Yeah.
Just because I think Givens will get more of that work. I think
they gave Austin a running play.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? But it's just nice to see
Peterson
they're trying to get him involved.
Peterson threw the ball this week. This means nothing.
He's a defensive player, but it's nice that they're trying to get him involved. That's all.
But, I like Givens more just because I think that's the typical stat line you'll get from Tavon Austin minus the touchdowns. I think you're going to see 4 or 5 catches for 40 to 60 yards, that type of thing. Whereas I think Givens is going to be that bigger playability that'll get you those 100-yard games. So he's the guy I'd rather have. Now, talking about just the wide receivers, we'll take Cook out of the mix here. Are any of these guys going to crack your top 30 this week?
Yes. Yeah, Tavon Austin will. I've got to do my rankings after the podcast tonight. I think Tavon Austin will.
I got all these guys outside my top 30. There's just so many other options I think I'd rather have. But next game on here, we got Chargers, Eagles. Chargers 33, Eagles 30. Chargers, Phillip Rivers. What is going on? This kind of reminds me of, David at the dentist when he's like, is this real life? I know, Rivers, right? This is incredible right now.
Hey, he's done it before.
He's the 4th highest quarterback in fantasy right now. And I don't want to say I'm buying into it, but he's hot right now and has a moderately easy matchup next week against Tennessee. I think I'm crazy, and I have him ahead of Brady in my rankings this week. Is that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy. I definitely am not going to elevate him that fast, just because of how good the quarterbacks are that I think are ahead of him, you know. But he's definitely showing some big-time signs of improvement, obviously. Look at the numbers. It's something I didn't expect from Rivers, but we talked about it a little bit on the podcast. I think you kind of liked him. The hype went on that as the injuries were happening to the receivers. And, that's one thing to bring up Malcolm Floyd.
Yeah.
I don't know what I know he showed up to practice in a hard neck brace.
Yeah, he's not playing for a while.
He's not going to be playing for a while. I don't think they've set a timetable yet, but he's a talented player. That's unfortunate to lose, but we'll see who steps up there. I don't know. Rivers, I'm not that excited about him, but hey, you might be right. One more week, and I'm going to have to really think about it.
The thing for me here, I guess, is Ryan Matthews, as much as I've been hyping him all offseason, isn't really getting the red zone goal line work. They're playing against Tennessee, who actually has a fairly strong run defense, so I think they're going to be throwing the ball quite a bit in order to get this game won. And then my other side of it is with Brady. He's playing against Tampa Bay, so we've already seen how bad his receivers are, and now throw Revis on one of those receivers, and that gets real scary real fast.
Right.
I think maybe I'll bump him up. I'll bump Brady up on Friday, maybe if I know Gronk is going to be back, because I know that's going to be a big uptick to Brady. But I think the Revis factor, upon the fact that his receivers are just terrible, really moved him down this week for my rankings. But speaking of guys that are just way outperforming right now, Eddie Royal, 3 touchdowns, 3rd highest fantasy receiver right now. This is just ridiculous, right? This is
it's funny. We didn't even talk about him last week.
Nope.
He had 2 touchdowns, but that's
deal.
Nothing, right? But then he
fluke.
does it again, and now you're like, hey, Malcolm Floyd's out. Rivers is looking better. If you like Rivers that much, how can you not kind of buy into Eddie Royal right now?
Because I don't know.
Floyd's not going to be there. I think he's got to step it up. And actually, with that injury, I think maybe Eddie Royal is, he was picked up in our home league, unfortunately, but he's a guy that I probably would have gone to after hearing that Floyd wasn't going to be back and just seeing what he's done.
Well, yeah, and Rivers showed last year that once he locks into a receiver like he did with Denari Alexander,
right?
It's a guy that could have top 20
Vincent
potential.
Jackson back, yeah.
Well, Vincent Jackson's a different talent from Eddie
right,
Royal
I know,
and Denari
but
Alexander.
Like you said, he likes to zero in on a guy.
So obviously it's too late to sit back and just watch to see what happens now with Eddie Royal because he's going to be scooped up in every league possible.
I'm okay picking him up. There's a lot of guys I'd drop for him now.
Right, but I'm saying, maybe in a fab league, how much are you spending on this guy? Say you got a $200 cap for the year.
Yep.
How much of your $200 cap are you blowing on Eddie Royal?
I'm going to say...
$40?
No, I don't believe like that. I'm going to say $12 to $15. That's
low. That's real low.
Yeah, I know, and probably lose him.
You're not going to get him for $12, $15. there'll be one crazy in every group that spends $50 to $60 on this guy.
What would you put on him? Maybe I would put 20, but I'm not going any further than that because I don't believe in it that much.
I'd go 30 to 35, and I'm still not a believer.
Yeah.
Fab budget you go through real fast, especially for the players like this that break out early. Eagles side of the ball, though, Deshaun Jackson has another great game. He actually leads the NFL in receiving now after his 9 catches for 193 yards and a touchdown. Interesting from this, though, I thought LaShawn McCoy, after having 31 carries in the first game, only 11 carries this game, still finished with 16 touches because he had the 5 receptions, which kind of saved his fantasy day, those receptions, because otherwise the 11 for 53 just wasn't really getting it done. Where do you think McCoy ends this year? I know you like him as, top 3 probably running back, but carry-wise, what do you think is going to be an average game for him? We've now seen probably the high he'll have this season
20.
at 31.
Yeah.
And the low at 11. You think it's going to be 20 a game?
Yeah, I think he needs to be right around 20. He'll be involved in the passing game, too. It was surprising to see last week how little he was. I think he had 1 reception, maybe 0. But seeing this week with 5, that was more what I expected. Closer to 5, 3 to 5. 20 touches, 20 carries a game is what I think is going to happen. I haven't got a chance to watch this game, so I'm interested to see why they didn't get as many plays off. Just a lot of 3-and-outs is what I assume, and some obviously good offense by the Chargers. But what about Vic?
Yeah, Vic is looking real good, real good.
You think he's the real deal or what?
He's looking like the real deal. I'm just worried about, obviously we saw it this week when he got hit and took an injury and had to come out for a couple plays.
Yeah.
Just interested to see how he holds up all year.
Yeah.
At some point, they got to kind of rein him in a little bit and protect him a little more, or tell him not to run so much or something. Something's going to change, because otherwise, when they make the playoffs, and I'm saying when, not if, when they make the playoffs, he may not be around for them.
Basically what we've said all along, when he's healthy, he's good.
Yeah. Chiefs-Cowboys, though. Chiefs 17, Cowboys 16. Chiefs side, nothing really too fantasy relevant. Chiefs side of the ball, Charles is Charles. Alex Smith is boring old Alex Smith. But are you starting to get worried about Dwayne Bowe, just 4 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown?
He led the team in targets by quite a bit. Charles had 10, but other than a running back.
Dunk, it's not looking
That's
good.
kind of what I was not really expecting. I thought maybe Alex, because of a talented receiver like Bowe, would stretch the field a little bit with him, And I think he can. He's just doesn't have the nuts for it or something. I'm sure Andy would like to a little more. He did back in Philly, so... Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit worried about him, but at 8 targets, I think it's something where he's definitely the best one there. But I think he might be what he is, number 2 wide receiver.
Well, the problem with Dwayne Bowe, I think, is I think you're going to see a lot of these types of games, the 50 to 65 yard games. To give you an idea, if he does average 65 yards a game for 16 games, that's over 1,000 yards. He'll still get his 1,000 yards this year. You're just never going to have those games that win you a week. They're just going to be consistent, mundane, boring crap. That's the best I can put it. Just crap. Cowboy side of the ball, Brian obviously goes off. The injury that I thought was going to hinder him a little bit didn't.
Yeah, based off of the history of we've seen him with injuries, tough to play through it, but he certainly did today.
Yeah, definitely.
Sunday
Goes off for 9 catches, 141 yards and a touchdown. But DeMarco Murray here, just 12 carries for 25 yards, averaging just 3.5 yards a carry for the season right now. If you're a DeMarco Murray owner, you have to be getting worried about those, not only the carries, only 12 carries, but the yards per carry. It's not looking good for DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried, but he's still, it's not like he's lost a step or anything. He's still a young player. Sometimes you can't really explain exactly what's happening. There's a little bit of trouble along the offensive line, but I don't know. I'm worried for sure, but I'm not going to sell on him right now because, again, I'm not going to trade a guy. Wait till he has if you're worried, wait till he has 20 for 100 next week, maybe. But
yeah, very rarely will Matt or I ever sell low on a guy unless we're completely all out on him.
Yeah.
And we'll get to a couple guys I think a little bit later that we might be selling out on. But Dolphins 24, Colts 20. Dolphins side of the ball, it's kind of what you expected. Wallace gets back on track without having, Joe Hayden on him like he did last week.
Yeah,
9 catches.
He also complained sometimes.
Yeah, that never works, though,
yeah.
really.
Well, hey, it did.
Maybe it did in this, but I doubt it. Lamar Miller and Daniel Thomas, still splitting the carries, but looking more like a 2-1 split for Lamar Miller. And Miller gets the touchdown. Still not quite getting the carries that you expected out of Miller when you drafted him this year, but hopefully that kind of turns around a little bit more. Colts side, DHB, Darius Hayward-Bay gets hurt, so we get to see a lot more T.Y. Hilton, and T.Y. looked good. So Donald Brown is the complimentary back here, though, gets 7 carries to Ahmad Bradshaw. Bradshaw's obviously still the guy to own here. Brown, just interesting to note. I mean, if he gets 7 to 10 carries a game, just a guy you want to stash away. Eventually, Bradshaw's probably going to get hurt this year, and he's going to have a game where he gets to start. So pick him up and kind of stash him away.
But I hate his talent.
Yeah. Can you call it talent?
Right.
Can you call
that's
it talent?
Interesting. Yeah, I hate his talent. I guess lack of.
If a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Texans 30, Titans 24. Texans, Foster and Tate. I mean, Tate ended up having more rushing yards than Foster despite half the carries. Foster kind of salvages the day with his rushing touchdown because he always gets all the goal line work. Are you worried at all about, the amount of production you're getting out of Foster? I mean, do you think this starts to become more of an even split in carries?
No. Nope, it's not going to happen. Foster has just been too good. They know what they have in him. They can count on him. It's easy to come in and get 9 carries in a game and be fresh every time.
I'm still getting worried. I mean, he hasn't.
I'm not worried yet. You want to get worried? I'll trade him. I'll trade for you. Trade with you for him.
He's getting the touches. I like the touches, but the yards just aren't there. You can't bank on a touchdown. I mean, I guess with Foster you can maybe bank on a touchdown every week, but
yeah,
I'm still getting a little bit worried because a lot of people are picking him, top 5 this year.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, we moved him down as the season came along.
Andre Johnson leaving with an injury leaves it wide open for DeAndre Hopkins. Are you buying this game for Hopkins? I think he had a touchdown, 117 yards?
Yep.
Are you buying into this? Do you think this is the real deal, or do you think this is just, hey, he took the place of Andre Johnson?
Yeah, we talked about handcuffs, and this is what we're talking about, I think. I'm ready to call him one for your wide receiver. A lot of his production did come with Andre out, but, I mean, he was having a decent game before. He had 13 targets. And I know Andre missed some time here, but some of the catches he made were just outstanding. So he just showed what everybody knew. The talent's really there. So, he's never going to outproduce Andre. Andre's the man there for sure. But, Andre's missed some time, and he's a stud. I think this kid's going to be a stud.
Yeah, Andre Johnson's he's missed his fair share of games.
Yeah, exactly.
He's always getting banged up. So
if I've got Andre Johnson, I want to have Hopkins on my bench. I really do. I want to make sure I still have Andre Johnson no matter what.
Yep. Titans side though, CJ2K 25 carries for 96 yards. I'm still liking that he's getting the carries. I mean, the yards still isn't cracking 100 yet, despite all those carries. But I'm loving that he's getting all those carries and all those touches.
Yeah.
Walker still looking horrendous, only 148 yards passing to go on top of his 125 the week before. Are any of the Titans wide receivers rosterable at this point? Is there any Titans wide receiver you want on your team?
It was nice to see Wright have a good game here. He's been hobbled, but no. I mean, Wright's the one I'm done with him. 9 targets and come down with 4 of them. A lot has to do with, I think, the quarterback here, and that's why we're talking about this. But Kendall Wright's one guy I'll at least keep an eye on, but no.
Yeah, I don't want any of these guys on my team. Packers, Redskins. Packers just blew this game wide open. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was Aaron Rodgers in this game. I mean, he just blew it open. 480 yards and 4 touchdowns. All of his receivers get their fantasy value you'd want if you owned any of them. Jones finally gets involved. 11 catches for 178 yards. Cobb gets 9 for 128 and a touchdown. Nelson, only 3 catches, but still gets 2 touchdowns. And then Finley, 6 for 65 and a touchdown. The big news, obviously, like we said earlier, the big news in this game, obviously, that Eddie Lacy, after 1 carry, gets concussion. In comes James Starks, 20 carries, 132 yards, and a touchdown. I got to say, before this game, my bold prediction that I tweeted out was that Eddie Lacy would have 20 fantasy points in this game because they said they wanted to run the ball with him. And I thought this was a very easy matchup where he very easily could get those 20 fantasy points. Obviously, I mean, with Starks coming in, this shows had Lacy played, he would have had all this work as well. 19 fantasy points here for Starks. So I was pretty right on with my bold prediction. But I'm going to go out and say, don't spend a lot of your fab budget on James Starks. If you're in a waiver wire league, obviously put a claim in on him, but don't spend a lot of your fab budget on this guy. Next week they play against Cincinnati, which has a tough run defense. Week 4 they're on a bye, and Week 5 Eddie Lacy's going to be back. So don't spend a lot of money on this guy. It isn't going to make sense for just 1 week against a tough matchup.
Yeah, and actually we'll go back to he's not going to be my number one. I'd rather get Rodgers.
Because it's more weeks.
Yeah, a little bit more time. There's no way Eddie Lacy is losing his job to Starks. You know what I mean? No
and like I said, more than likely Lacy will be out this week, but then you got the bye week and then he's back.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
it's only 1 week you're getting Starks for, so don't go crazy with your fat budget. Redskins, Garcon looked really, really good here. Obviously, it's RG3's favorite receiver by far. 8 catches, 143 yards, and a touchdown. I kind of said in the preseason that, he's my breakout receiver, one of my breakout receivers that I want to get. And so far, Garcon's looking every bit the part. RG3 finally kind of knocks the dust off and gets things going, but I still think he needs to get more designed runs. They're kind of trying to protect him a little more than I think they should. They need to let him run the ball, open up the field a little bit more, improvise more. What are your thoughts on Garcon and RG3?
Yeah, Garcon, like you said, RG3 loves him. 13 targets. The next closest guy in the team was 6, Joshua Morgan. So, I mean, talk about looking to one guy. That's definitely his favorite guy there. Griffin, I agree with you. I think they're just trying to ease him into it, and there's no reason that they should be just unleashing the playbook on him right away.
They keep playing the way they are. They are not getting anywhere
right, and so I think it might have to happen a little bit quicker. I'm still not 100% worried on Griffin because, look, even when they're playing this terrible, he gets the garbage time. I think he's going to work himself back into Robert Griffin.
I hope so.
So I'm not super worried about him. I might have a backup if I've got him on my roster. Go get a Carson Palmer, something like
Somebody
that.
solid.
Yeah,
someone that
just in
play
case he
week in, week out.
really just doesn't improve because you can see he's not himself right now. But hey, he had another decent day for fantasy. Maybe even just because they're awful. Yeah. That might keep happening.
Ravens 14, Browns 6. Ravens, obviously, another running back getting hurt here. Ray Rice has a hip flexor strain. And then Marlon Brown catches his second touchdown, second straight game with a touchdown. So, what do you want to talk about here? You want to talk about the Rice thing or the Marlon Brown?
Well, the Rice, obviously, it's too bad. We'll have to see how long exactly he's going to be out.
I think he plays again this week. They're saying it's going to be...
they're saying minor.
They're saying minor, so I think he's going to push through it and play this week. But if I can help it, which is hard to say because it's Ray Rice, I don't think I'm starting him because he was already losing a decent chunk of care. Not losing, but splitting time, I should say, with Bernard Pierce. So I'm a little worried about how it's going to be, especially when they know he's banged up. I'm
big on playing your stars, even with Roddy. I've been playing him. And, when they're on the field, I'm going to go with it because the time they go off while you got them on the bench and you're playing some bum, you're going to be pissed.
I would rather...
I'd rather fall down the cliff with my stud than...
See, I wouldn't. I'd rather get that consistent production, and if I miss 1 week, I miss 1 week, rather than have a week like Roddy had this week, and now you lost your week because of it.
Yeah, I hear you.
That, I'd rather lose a week having Roddy go off on my bench and saying, well, I guess I should have played him, than start Roddy and lose that way, I guess. But, I hear what you're saying.
I was impressed with Torrey, going against Hayden. We all thought pretty much nothing. He had a decent day.
I'm telling you, he is going to be better than you think.
He's Brown
putting in good yards.
Brown is a guy that I like. I thought actually he'd have a little bit better day than this because of the Hayden factor, shutting Torrey down. But I love the size, 6'5". It's just unbelievable. And look, another touchdown. I think if I'm a quarterback, and I think most people are going to look to a guy at that height down there.
Yeah, that's for sure. Brown side, though, Cameron has another Cameron day. 5 catches, 95 yards. Kind of told you, start Cameron over Cook, and you just loved your Jared Cook.
I know.
But
it's a good problem to have.
So now with Josh Gordon coming back, his two game suspension's over. Are you buying or selling Cameron? Because I think this is production that is going to be close. I think he's going to get 70 to 80 yards, I think, a week consistently now instead of close to 100 with Gordon back. What are your thoughts? Are you trying to sell him with Gordon coming back, or are you still trying to buy Jordan Cameron?
Oh, I'm buying him for sure. I think Gordon helps in the fact that, like I've said, he'll stretch the field. He's another weapon that they can get Cameron a little bit more space because people are going to have to focus on him. I might agree with you, though, on the fact that maybe it's not the 5 for 95, 19-yard average. He's going to roam the middle of the field a little more, let Gordon do his thing. But I think it's going to help him for sure. Cleveland is not a good team. They're going to be coming from behind quite often, although they do have a pretty good D. But
and Whedon banged up now, so we got Jason Campbell probably playing this week.
Yeah, and I don't know if he's a downgrade.
Yeah, I mean, can you downgrade from Whedon?
Right.
I mean, this coming from the guy who's got Christian Ponder as his quarterback.
And look at poor Greg Little, right? 12 targets, 4 catches. He's just... I was on the Greg Little train a few years ago. If you have him on your roster, please drop him.
Pretty much. I mean, for me, the only rosterable Browns players are Cameron and Richardson.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
And that's it.
Well, Gordon.
Absolutely. And Gordon. Now that Gordon's back, yeah.
Yep.
Bills 24, Panthers 23. Bills squeak out this win at the end of the game with 2 seconds left. I mean, could Stevie Johnson be any more wide open? That was ridiculous. I mean, it's the last play of the game. How does that happen? I mean, I don't even understand how he could get that open. Kind of cost me one of my leagues that I was in this week, so I'm obviously a little bitter about that. But C.J. Spiller finally having a C.J. Spiller day, 16 carries, 103 yards, nothing really to talk about there. Panthers side of the ball, Newton's still looking like he's struggling, though. 229 yards passing, only 4 for 15 rushing, 4 carries for 15 yards. Are his running days over? Are they trying to go the way of RG3 and have Newton not run as much? I mean, he's
he had some 10-yard to go, 10 in distance plays where he was lined up to run the football. You can't overreact to every game. I think Buffalo has a decent defense, and I think Cam's going to be fine. I don't really have him moving down my ranks at all right now.
He's moved down a little bit for me. Not a lot.
I don't know who would have moved ahead right now.
There's a Michael Vick.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, guys like that I'm slowly starting to move up.
True. Yeah.
I'm getting a little worried about the rushing, but I think you're right. I think it comes back eventually. But D'Angelo Williams having another nice day, 22 carries for 85 yards. It's something to keep watching. Nothing crazy good, nothing spectacular, but still consistent and good. So Bears 31, Vikings 30. I tweeted out before the game, and I talked about this on the Tennessee Sports Radio thing that I did on Sunday. I kind of said that I thought Matt Forte was going to have a monster day because of the way Reggie Bush had tore up the Vikings the week before. And my bold prediction for him was 150 total yards and 2 touchdowns. He didn't get the 2 touchdowns, but he definitely got well over the 150 total yards, getting 90 yards rushing, another 71 receiving on 11 receptions.
Yeah.
PPR leagues, guys were loving that.
Yeah.
Viking side, Jennings finally has a solid game, 5 catches for 84 yards, and then Peterson is Peterson.
Right.
I don't think besides from Forte breaking out like he did, because your Vikings just can't stop a running back, nothing really to take away from this game, I don't think.
No, I mean, Jerome Simpson came back down to earth. We didn't talk about him last week for a reason. So.
Yeah, we shouldn't have talked about him this week either.
Yeah.
Saints 16, Bucks 14.
Oh, wait, you know what? What about Martellus Bennett? Are you buying him?
I kind of am.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting the looks.
I don't know if we want to glance right over him because...
No, you're right.
He's a guy that's really kind of moving up my rankings. He's really surprised me. 9 touches. I watched this game, and there were a lot of possessions where Jake was looking to him,
Jay Cutler, yeah.
Jay Cutler was looking to him, and he looked good. I mean, he got a little bit banged up. He was talking about a shoulder, I think it was, after the game. We'll see what that ends up being. We haven't heard anything yet, but... That's just the guy I wanted to mention because I think he's really moving up those ranks. This offense really is looking to involve him.
Yeah, I have him as a top 10 tight end moving forward.
Yeah.
Easy. But Saints 16, Bucks 14. Saints, are you getting worried about Drew Brees? I mean, I'm kind of getting worried about him. Only 3 touchdown passes through 2 games, 3 interceptions as well. You got to be getting nervous, right? I mean,
yeah.
I had him over Rodgers coming into the season as my number 1 quarterback.
Yeah.
And obviously that was wrong. I mean, so far, we're only 2 games in, so, small sample size, but still.
We got a long way to go to catch up now after Rodgers this week, but it's starting to worry me a little bit. But again, it's 2 games, and he's always been great. So if he's a guy somebody's jumping off the train on, and you can get him cheap, you're not happy with your quarterback. I don't know. I think he's going to be just fine. I really do.
Bucs side, word is coming out that Josh Freeman may be demanding a trade. Only 9 for 22 passing for 125 yards. Some are saying this is going to hurt Martin and V-Jax, but will it? I mean, really? I mean, look at how bad he is. They're saying that Glennon will be a worse quarterback than Freeman, and they're going to stack the line and stop Martin, and V-Jax isn't going to get his big plays. But I mean, look at the stats for Freeman. Is it really going to hurt him?
Yeah, I hear
Is it really going to hurt either guy? I mean, look how bad Freeman is playing.
He's regressed, and I don't understand why. Maybe he's just unhappy there, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how 9 for 22 can be any worse. You know what I mean?
It really can't.
Obviously,
be any worse.
Obviously, it hurt both of them this game. I mean, well, I shouldn't say both of them.
Martin still
had a
did
good
really
game.
well.
Just didn't score, which is a product of a quarterback going for 9 for 22. Moving the ball, but yeah, I don't see how it can. The way Freeman is playing this year, it's just on a lower level for him, and I don't see how it can get any worse than what's going on now.
A lower level for Freeman. That's real bad.
Yeah,
that's like saying Christian Ponder's playing bad.
This is as bad as he's played.
We're just gonna have like running Christian Ponder jokes from now on if you don't get it. But Cardinals 25, Lions 21. Larry Fitzgerald kind of pushed through his injury, but really didn't get anything done. Just catching 2 catches for 33 yards. This week they play New Orleans, so it's a decent matchup because it's a bad defense, and it's a game they're going to be throwing a lot. So I got to ask you, where are you going to rank Larry Fitzgerald and Michael Floyd?
Well, I'm going to rank Larry right now, right where I would. Like he's healthy.
Really?
I usually like to do that on Tuesdays because I'm gonna, put the other ranking out and update them based on what I'm hearing. But it's Tuesday, so right now he's healthy as far as I'm concerned, and I'll make adjustments if I have to.
I moved Fitz down to 16 right now.
Yep.
Obviously not crazy low. You're still starting him, but lower than my top 5 that I normally have.
Yeah, he sat out a crucial fourth quarter drive. I hear you. Maybe I'll look into that, but like I said.
I'll say Floyd, on the other hand, I moved up pretty high. I think I have him in the low 30s. He's a guy that I think is going to do some damage this week. Not only is, Fitzgerald going to take all the attention, but like I said, they're going to be down in this game. They're going to be throwing. The Saints' defense is not very good. If Fitz does miss this game, even more reason why he's going to get more work. I think him and Andre Roberts probably have nice games against the Saints. But Lions side, Megatron gets back on track with his first 100-yard, 2-touchdown performance of the year. Reggie Bush, another running back, getting hurt in the game. No real surprise there. But what's your thought on Reggie Bush? Do you think this is going to be something that lingers? Reggie Bush is the type of guy that once he gets hurt, it does kind of linger for a while.
Yeah, it's almost seemed to change the offense too. They really
big time.
Yeah, they bogged right down when Reggie wasn't out there. Of course, Drake Bell's a serviceable backup, but he's certainly not on the level of Reggie.
No Reggie Bush. Yeah.
Again, I'm not an injury guy. I want to wait to see what happens, but I agree with you. Yeah, when he gets an injury, sometimes it tends to nag. And last year he played all 16 games. Is that correct?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and I think that was the only time he's done that. So,
yeah,
what's the luck of getting 2 of those in a row?
I got to tell you, I think now is the time that if you wanted to, is you buy low on Reggie Bush. I think this is the time that you go to the Reggie Bush owner.
Yeah, I like that.
And you say, hey, he really didn't put up numbers last week.
Yep.
He got hurt.
And he came back in.
Reggie Bush is always hurt. You kind of play that up to him. See what you can do. See if you can kind of steal him away from the Reggie Bush owner. Raiders 19, Jaguars 9. Can we just skip this game? Do we even have to talk about this?
I know it. We should. We should. MJD hurt. We'll see what's going on with that. He left the game in what quarter was it? Second quarter? Third quarter?
Yeah, he left early in the game. I didn't write down the quarter, but
yeah, so that's...
He is expected to be back this week, but he's playing against Seattle, so you're not starting him. Number 1, you're worried about the injury if he plays this week. Number 2, it's Seattle's defense. I think in my rankings this week, I have him... I think off the top of my head, I had him outside the top 20. He's been doing real bad so far this season, and tough defense, nagging injury. I'm moving him outside the top 20. Raiders side, McFadden has a 100-yard day. I think he's 3rd in the league right now in rushing, if I'm not mistaken. Terrell Pryor chips in with another 50 yards rushing. Now has 162 rushing for the year for Pryor. Where are you ranking Pryor this week? The rushing yards are obviously making him fantasy relevant, but still not getting it done with his arm. So where are you going to have Pryor this week?
What's the matchup?
That's a good question.
I'd like to know where I have. Like
Denver.
I said, I haven't
against Denver.
Denver. It's a good defense.
It's also a game where he's going to have to throw
he's going to have
lot.
to throw. He's going to be on the run. He's going to be up there for me.
Improvise a lot.
I'm not going to. This is the first he's started 3 games now in the NFL. Every one of them has been, I think, 17. Before this, the other 2 were 17 or higher. He scored in double digits every game so far, and like you said, the running. He's very talented in that regard. And yes, his throwing looks horrendous, but I'm going to have him top 15, 16. I bet.
I was going to say I have
15.
him. I'm sorry. Actually, I was wrong. They play against. Is that right? Do they play against the? No, that's not right. Sorry, I was looking up who they play against this week, and what I was looking up was obviously not right. I have him 15 this week. Right outside.
Right. That's I think where I had him last week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm buying into it a little bit because I've seen it now 2 weeks in a row with the rushing. Throwing the ball, I'm going to be kind of worried about. Like I said, I'm about 90% sure they play the Broncos this week. I wish I had written that down to double check. But speaking of the Broncos, they were the next game that we had up on our list here. Broncos 41, Giants 23, and Manning Bowl 3 here. Broncos, an early ball fumble. Ball was kind of getting the work a little early on. Allowed for Moreno to kind of take over. 13 carries for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ball still did get work. He still got 12 carries in the game. But is this the time that you sell high on Moreno to the ball owner? It's got to be, right? I mean, go to the ball owner, kind of
I don't know
sell
if you have
Moreno
to even
to
go
him.
to the ball owner. You're talking about a starting running back in Denver right now, or the guy that's getting the work. You might be able to get somebody on that. Somebody who's fallen in love with Peyton Manning, just sees the 22-point game. I think he had 24-point, whatever it was. I don't know. I think he's a sell high pretty much to anybody. I don't think you have to go to ball right now.
Give me a wide receiver that you think you could get for him in trade. Eric Decker?
Yeah, like that's the level I'm going to try to go for. That's a good line to put it at. I think.
I was going to say probably like a wide receiver 30, 32 range, somewhere in there.
And you know what's funny is there's a little tiny little piece of me.
Miles Austin, maybe.
There's
Somebody
a little
like that.
tiny piece of me. I don't know about you. Is it like if you get the starting running back in Denver? I mean, for anybody that got him, it was for nothing, right? So he's not letting you down if he loses the job, whatever. He's the guy you drop, but it's almost like God. He's kind of performing when he's getting in there. If he's a starting running back in Denver, I love him.
Yeah, no, he's definitely performing really, really well. We saw at the end of last year what he can do when he is the starter. I honestly don't know why they decided they needed to go out and draft a running back.
Yeah,
I really
he looked
don't.
good. He looked good Sunday.
He's doing everything that they obviously wanted him to do, and that's why he's starting again.
Did you see the block he had too?
No.
Oh my God! It was to a wide receiver. The wide receiver cut back towards the middle, and Sean laid a guy out. Like, it was painful to watch. Just those little things to come back and block for his receiver that was running.
Nice.
Just a physical football player. If he keeps playing like he is, I'm excited about him, but it's a little early.
Three more running backs and a mess over here on the Giants side of the ball, though. All 3 of their running backs, David Wilson, Darrell Scott, and Brandon Jacobs, all get 7 touches each. None of them did anything. Which running back do you want right now for next week, like this week coming up? Which one will you rank the highest, and which one do you want the rest of the season?
David Wilson and David Wilson.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's still David Wilson for me for both. Although I'm interested to see, as bad as Brandon Jacobs is, he got the same carries as David Wilson, and he's going to be the goal line guy, so I am a little interested in that, but I'm still ranking Wilson a lot higher.
Yeah, if they want to win football games, they need to get Wilson involved. Obviously, they're down in a hole right now, so
yeah,
I understand their reluctance to get him involved completely, but he needs the football.
Yeah. So the Sunday night game, the Seahawks.
Buy low, right?
For David Wilson, yes.
Yeah.
We have some David Wilson questions coming up a little bit later.
All right.
You wait, and we got some good stuff on David Wilson, I think, later. But the Sunday night game, Seahawks 29, 49ers 3. The Seahawks game, earlier in the day, you know how Matt and I kind of do the live Sunday morning tweeting, noon to 1, using the hashtag AskBlindside. We were kind of helping people answer their start-sit questions, and kind of answered one for this one person, at PackersGirl_13 on Twitter. She kind of asked, PPR league, DeMarco Murray or Marshawn Lynch, who are you starting? She was obviously worried about Marshawn Lynch against the stout 49ers run defense. Kept trying to convince her, go with Lynch, start your studs type of thing. I understand it's PPR, Lynch doesn't catch a lot of passes, but 3 straight games with 100 yards rushing versus the 49ers, you want to go out and start him. And Lynch just goes off. I mean, he is having a real nice day. 28 carries for 98 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, 3 for 37 and a receiving touchdown. So at @PackersGirl_13, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
No kidding.
Keep starting Marshawn Lynch. Don't.
Yeah, we have a good time doing that too, and we got a good amount of questions this week. Keep them coming in because we're both sitting there. We enjoy it. It's a good time, and we're going to be there watching football anyway. So
yeah, make sure you
send
keep
them
tweeting
over.
your questions even during the games if you want. Tweet your questions. We'll help you answer
What
them.
is it? Ask Blindside. Right?
At #AskBlindside.
Yep.
Every Sunday, like I said, from noon to 1, Matt and I will be answering those questions. 49ers side of the ball was just yuck. I mean, there's really nothing you can say about this but yuck. In one of my leagues, I went into my Sunday night game down 6 points. I had Colin Kaepernick. He had the Cincinnati defense Monday night, and I was like, I got this.
Yeah, that's our home league.
It is. At 6 points, I was down. Cincy defense, Colin Kaepernick. I am taking that. I am winning that 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, it's funny because I talked to you a few hours earlier, right? Remember, I was
and
like, I
like,
lost tonight.
I'm like 2-0.
And you said, no,
2-0.
and I won. You already put it. Oh, that's good. That's
It was-
funny. You
it
counted
was
your
terrible.
chickens before they hatch right there.
Maybe it was fantasy karma coming back at me, but I mean, worst day of his career throwing the ball, just 127 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. What I really liked seeing was his 9 carries for 87 yards rushing. I love seeing that rushing ability back because I was a little worried about that after week 1 when he really wasn't running the ball that much. So I like that I'm seeing him getting it back with his legs. I would like to see a better performance overall, though, that's for sure, moving forward. You really lost me this week, Cap. You need to start getting your shit together. Monday night game, that's another game we should just glance over. I mean...
Well, real quick, though, Frank Gore, 9 for 16. That's 2 games in a row with abysmal yards per carry. But good defenses, or a good defense this week. Are you buying low on him?
No.
You're totally out.
I'm out on Frank Gore. I
Right.
was never a fan of Frank Gore. Last year was it tied him for his best fantasy year ever, and I think that was like 2 years into his career where he was 1,200 yards and I think 6 or 7 touchdowns type of thing. That's what Frank Gore is. Average, just not average, but you know what I'm saying? Nothing spectacular. He's never going to get you a 20-point game, but he's never going to get you, well, I mean, I guess he did get you a 2 or 3 point game type of thing. I'm all out on Frank Gore. I'm not buying low on him. But the Monday night game, Bengals 20, Steelers 10. Bengals, BenJarvus Green-Ellis, still obviously the lead back despite Bernard's touchdown there. He had 22 carries to Bernard's 8. A.J. Green, I mean, not a very A.J. Green performance. He still came down with 6 catches, what helped you in PPR leagues, but only 41 yards here. Steelers, I can't see starting any Steelers next week against Chicago. Can you? I mean, there's nobody on the Steelers team that I am thinking of starting.
Yeah, I'm still going to start Brown. He's, especially in a PPR, he's going to be better. Bernard, I wanted to just yes, it was 22-8, but the difference in talent between those two is something that why we still rank them fairly close, because any week now it can happen where the shift is starting to become more apparent.
And the shift will come. Bernard's a guy you should buy low on right now.
Unbelievable. He looked so good last night.
Here's the question. If you had BenJarvus Green-Ellis right now, would you trade BenJarvus straight up for Bernard?
Yeah.
I think you can get more.
Because right now I'm making the playoffs, right? I'm going to make the playoffs. I want Bernard come playoff time.
Obviously, I think you can get more than Bernard. Like, you can get the Bernard orange to kind of throw in somebody or something like that.
Yep.
But I'm just saying that just kind of tells you where rest of the season we are on Bernard versus Green-Ellis.
Yep.
So this upcoming Thursday night game, Chiefs-Eagles. Andy Reid gets to head home to the Eagles and reunite himself with them. That should be interesting. We get to see 2 of the good young running backs in this game. We get to see more of the Eagles offense, the Chip Kelly offense in prime time. It really makes me think that they did that on purpose this year. They said, hey, the Eagles are going to have a high-flying offense. Let's give them all the prime time games.
Of course they did. Are you kidding me?
It'll make for good TV because
this was a big story, and they knew it would be exciting.
Yeah, they knew, Andy Reid coming back to the Eagles, coming back to Philadelphia was going to make for a good storyline. Because otherwise, let's be honest, nobody wants to watch Kansas City in prime time.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Charles is exciting.
Even people in Kansas City don't want to watch
Kansas City in prime Jamal's
time.
Exciting. He's a guy that, changes the game, so.
No, yeah, Jamal is exciting. Any takeaways you get from the previewing of that game? I mean, both running backs are probably going to be easily in your top 10. Maybe.
Jamal just seems to, he's had the injury bug this year. Little things that he's fighting through. It's kind of, I know. But yeah, both those guys are going to be, in my top 5. Maybe. Yeah, Charles, I love him against that Eagles defense.
Receivers, Deshaun Jackson will easily be in
your
top 15.
Deshaun, I'm really buying into. We'll do our buy and sell things on Friday, but he's a guy I'm loving in this offense, which I've been saying be Vic, McCoy, and Deshaun.
I think I got Deshaun in my top 15.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I got to say, Dwayne Bowe is probably low 20s, probably somewhere in there.
Deshaun had a play last week. He could have had a 250-yard day. Literally bounced off his fingertips. He should have caught the ball. It would have been another 50, 60-yard play. So
yeah, him and Vic are on a whole other level right now. So let's just hope that keeps going. And Deshaun Jackson might be a guy that if you can sell high on, maybe. Just because I'm worried about when I'm worried about when Vic gets hurt and Nick Foles comes in.
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing.
That's true.
So, he's a guy that I'm not selling crazy high on. I'm just saying if you can get somebody, if you can package him in something small for a Calvin Johnson, AJ Green, that type of tier receiver, then I would do that. Julio Jones, Demaryius Thomas, that type of guy. So make sure you follow me and Matt on Twitter, at Marcus Catkin and at Matt Dougal. And keep sending your questions to #BlindsidePod or emailing us blindside@blindsidefootball.com. Like I mentioned earlier, Matt and I every Sunday morning going to be tweeting from noon to 1, answering your start and sit questions. Make sure you use the #AskBlindside. But we got a few questions this week, 3 questions this week, all trade questions, which I thought was interesting. So lots of them about David Wilson and MJD, 2 guys that have huge question marks. But Seth Cardon, at Seth_Cardon, in a PPR league asks, he got an offer of he has Ridley and Lamar Miller, and he was offered Cruz, and then his choice of Rashard Mendenhall or David Wilson. Do you trade Ridley and Miller for Cruz and either Mendenhall or Wilson? What do you say, Matt? PPR league.
In a PPR league, okay. I didn't see
PPR
that.
league. I think this is a no-brainer. I'm taking the Cruz side.
Yeah, okay. So PPR changes it. For sure.
Ridley and Miller not catching a lot of passes.
Yeah,
never have been, never will be. Cruz obviously.
I think Miller will get more involved, but yeah, Cruz is a stud.
Cruz is a
PPR stud, standard scoring, whatever stud.
And then I guess it comes down to if you had your choice between Mendenhall and David Wilson in a PPR, which guy are you taking? This is where I think the question gets a little bit harder.
Yeah,
it's which guy do you want? You're definitely taking this side of the deal.
Honest to God, I would like to see what my roster looked like. Mendenhall, I think, is the safer bet, but Wilson has the much higher upside. That's what makes this so difficult.
And I think Wilson's going to catch a lot more passes. So for me in a PPR, it's Wilson.
Yeah, but you could end up getting a guy who's never going to get more than 10 touches a game because Coughlin is just all out on him.
You could. I'm always going for the high upside guy, and that's why I'm going for Wilson. I don't think you can go wrong with either guy because I think this deal is definitely going to work out for you.
I like Arizona's offense. I think I'm going to say Mendenhall.
You go on the safe route.
Yeah, but
boring safe route.
I think he's looked good. I think his workload is going to get a little bit bigger as the season goes on and he shows he's healthy.
Next question, our buddy Ryan on Twitter at WCU Catamount10 asks, he was offered MJD for David Wilson. He has David Wilson. Should he trade David Wilson for MJD?
I want to see what the injury with MJD is first. And if you can't wait for that, then I'm not making the trade.
You're not making the trade? Wow.
No.
I'm
because you never know. What if this is a serious injury?
You never know if David Wilson's going to play more than, like you just said.
I'm just saying, if the guy can't let you wait 2-3 days, you're going to find out what's going on with MJD, for sure. If you can't wait those few days... then
you haven't had trade offers where the guy's like, you got to decide today or the next day?
No,
because you got to realize, if the MJD owner finds out that MJD's healthy, that offer goes away because now he knows MJD's healthy.
That might not be why he's doing it. He probably thinks like you're doing most, that it's a minor injury, not a big deal. But what if it's a torn ligament they don't know about? I'm not making the trade right now. If the guy can't wait for you to find out what's up with MJD, then I'm not doing it.
I make that deal. MJD, he's a top guy for me. I mean, he's a guy that has top 5
potential. For me, if it comes out tomorrow and he's healthy, okay, do it.
He's a guy that has top 5 potential. David Wilson, I don't think does for me.
Yeah.
I'm taking the high upside guy every time. I think both of them have huge question marks.
Do you disagree if the guy will let you wait, you will wait?
Oh yeah, I will.
Right,
but
so
I have the
that.
feeling in this case.
Please ask that, Ryan.
I have the feeling that in this case you can't wait. It's kind of decide now type of thing.
Yep.
But I'm taking the MJD side because I think he has much higher upside, and I think both of them have question marks to them. I mean, they both do.
Yeah.
And I'd rather take the guy that I know is going to get the work.
Yeah.
I guess. Graham Hamilton at PinballGKH on Twitter asks, he was offered MJD for T.Y. Hilton. He says his running backs are Charles, Forte, Darrell Richardson, Bernard Pierce, and his wide receivers are Torrey Smith, Hakeem Nicks, Cecil Shorts, Julian Edelman, Alshon Jeffrey, and Golden Tate. So MJD for T.Y. Hilton. It's another good MJD question. Are you making this deal, or are you going to wait for the injury news?
I mean, I want to wait for the injury news, of course.
Oh my God!
But otherwise, I'm taking MJD of yes.
Oh my God! What are you waiting for? It's T.Y. Hilton.
I don't understand why you can't ask the guy. That's all. We just can't see eye to eye on this. It's amazing to me that you can't see what I'm saying.
You wouldn't just jump all over that. You would really sit there and think about this one for a while.
I would certainly ask the guy, can we find out what's going on with the injury? If he says no, then
you're making it.
I'm
It doesn't matter. You're making the deal.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. So if you're going to do the deal, if it's gun to your head, you got to make a decision right now.
Because
and you're doing it. Then what does it matter if you wait? Because you wait and you find out he's hurt, and then you don't want to do the deal.
Move on. I'm sick and tired of talking to you about this.
Oh man. Oh, you totally take MJD in that deal. You're going with the higher upside guy.
Yes, Graham.
Again.
Yes, MJD.
T.Y. Hilton for me. I mean, he's the third receiver on that team. He had a great game this past week, but
he's not going to be third receiver for long, though.
No. I think he's going to move up to the number 2, but I would rather have MJD, especially with the running backs he has. He has Charles, he has Forte, he has solid running backs that even if MJD misses a couple weeks, he can stash away on his bench and be okay. So just another reminder, we're always looking for a few good writers. So if you think you have what it takes to be a blindside writer, make sure you email us at career@blindsidefootball.com. Send us 2 to 3 of your fantasy football related writing samples so we can take a look at them. We're always looking to get good young guys to get on the website and maybe on a few podcasts.
Hey, girls too. Good young gals.
Girls too. Yeah, we need a girl perspective. We really do need one for the website.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm not discriminating here. Just saying guys in general. But I guess that's all I got. Matt, you got anything else?
No, I think that's it. Time to go home and play Grand Theft Auto 5.
And go get MJD. All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Yo, check it, it's my time. I'm rapping about Blindside Fantasy Football Podcast in this rhyme because they got me the inside scoop on Adrian Peterson. Yeah, he's that dude on Cam Newton. Yeah, they give me the news more on Megatron, Calvin Johnson if I stay tuned. On all quarterbacks, RG3 happens to be the fastest QB in the league. In fact, Colin Kaepernick is rider QB for them 49ers. It ain't hard to see, Some awesome people hosting, Marcus Catkin and Matt Dugal. You should be joining, skinny or fat, short or tall. Anyone can tune in to Blindside Football. Have a try